What's cracking, ladies and gentlemen? This is Jordan Kurtz with comments from the Peanut Gallery, as well as the MMA Plug, powered by Mile High Sports and DenverSportsBetting.com. Have a special guest today here with us, the Water Buffalo, my brother Fabio Cherant. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How about yourself, bro?
I'm doing good, man. But real quick, I just have to address it for everybody watching because I know it's going to come up in the comments. Like, hey, Kurtzy, why you got a black eye, bro? Well, first off, let me tell you, you should see the other guy. Let me tell you, he was 7 foot tall, 350 pounds. Just keep that in mind. Just kidding, but we're gonna run with it.
Yeah.
So real quick there, brother, where can people follow you at?
Buffalo MMA on Instagram, Twitter. Actually, it's Buff the Demon on Twitter, and my Facebook is just my regular name, Fabio Cherant.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So let's get right into the thick of it here, man. You're on a 2-fight win streak right now, and you've had some pretty big moments in those 2 fights since bouncing back from the Contender Series. So
Yes, sir.
you feel like that was definitely an instrumental step in the growth process?
It was, but I made a little mistakes on the way during the fight. I feel like that it takes away from my performance, but like, I mean, people got to think, out of my 7 professional fights, I missed weight twice, and it's during a global pandemic. And, I'm a professional. I should make weight, but, it's kind of tough out here in New England, the gym access, saunas, and, I'm still so new to the sport, so I'm going with the flow. I'm learning and learning, making mistakes, learning from them, and fixing them, but besides that, I had two very, very key performances, off of a big loss in my career. And I think my bounce back is definitely showing, especially during a time where we're limited with training and things are super crazy right now in this world,
Oh yeah, absolutely. So you kind of touched a little bit on there. I have to ask the almost at this point like necessary prerequisite question that all fighters are asked. How exactly is the pandemic affecting your training schedule, classes, whatever?
Crazy, man. I'm going from training almost every day to training like 3-4 times a week. I mean, a day, you know what I mean? So it's like, instead of training Monday through Saturday, I'm getting like Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. Sometimes I'll get some more days in, but like for the days that I'm not actually training MMA, I'm doing strength and conditioning, or I'm going running now, and trying to be good on keeping my weight low, and making the best I can, like I said, it's super tough. It's very tough right now. Like, guys have moved, like not moved, but they're training at other places, where they're able to, because New England's just tough. And if you don't have gym access, it's even tougher.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine not being able to be in the facility, or then even if you are in the facility, not having a good group of training buddies or multiple bodies to get the looks
Yeah.
from that you normally did. It's just definitely something that you have to make major adaptations within your programming for. I can't even imagine
Yeah.
what that would be like on that side.
I'm super blessed that I have a group that I've been able to train with. We've been able to figure things out. Trying to go from find a good training time with our schedules, because guys' schedules are so scattered. So we were trying to find certain times. Like my last 2 fights, most of my like sparring sessions have been in a garage. So it's like it's like tough. It's tough, man. This is the best way to explain it. It's just tough. But I've been fortunate enough, especially from my last fight, was able to get out to Vegas and train at the Extreme Couture. I'm gonna look to do that some more. Either go to Vegas or Arizona, or wherever I can find some high level training, and do what I have to do to get like a Airbnb and like find a way to pay coaches or whatever it is. It just, like I said, make do with what I can.
Oh yeah, definitely, bro. You got to get out to the X, my man.
Yeah.
Oh,
I would love to, bro. I was talking to Andre, I think his name is.
yeah,
Yeah, I was talking to
Petrosky.
him. Yeah, I was talking to him about getting some training in over there, and I would so many high level dudes there, man. I would love to come get some knowledge from you guys. You know what I mean? Like I, I'm seeing a lot of good things out of that gym. A lot of guys are making waves right now. And I'm a fan of a few of the guys that are fighting out of that gym. So I'd love nothing more but to get an opportunity to come train over there.
Hell yeah, man. So I've got to ask you this to follow up on that. Do you have anything in the works right now? Is there anything on the books?
Um, man, so so we just had like new restrictions in our area, like we have a curfew from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. basically, which isn't bad, but they have the whole uh capacity kind of shit going on too. So we're like promotions out here trying to figure out what they're gonna do and how they're gonna be able to make things work. I know my managers are trying to figure out some stuff with LFA right now. Yeah, or just I'm trying to stay ready, and when I get it, because both of my last two fights, man, are very short notice, So, hey, if that's how it's gonna be, I'm confident enough that, I mean, like, no, not a lot of other guys have the momentum I have fought as much as I have, So let's do it, man. I'm just waiting on an opportunity, and just to showcase what I can do again. I'm only getting better, even though I'm limited to my training, which is crazy to me. But I'm getting better, and I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop trying to get to the next level.
Definitely, man. I mean, that the hunger alone is commendable with that, and especially like you say, you've managed to figure out, despite the crazy circumstances, you've been able to make the walk twice during this time,
Hmm.
which is more to say than a lot of people out there, or a lot of fighters out there, I should say, have had the opportunity for. Now, one thing I have to ask: was that dude's head that you fought in the last fight just like a brick?
Bro.
Because, bro, you
Um,
unloaded a couple of bombs that
bro,
normally you see that stanky leg come after.
I honestly, the second round, I dropped him with a like a three and then a two. I dropped him, and I'm like, I, in my head, I'm like, what do I have to do? Like, I'm hitting him with everything, you know what I mean? Like, I was just so confused. And like, you can see in his face that he was just gone. Like everything was gone. You can just, like, when you're in a fight and you're staring into somebody's eyes, you're moving around, you can just tell they're slowly sinking and sinking, and like by the end of the second round, man, he was gone, and I'm like sitting there, I'm still cracking him, and he's not going, and unfortunately, I got hurt in the first, and I wasn't able to throw some of the tools that I have, so I was just kind of staying calm, because in the back of my head, I still have that contender series loss where I thought I had to finish on coming up, and you know, and I got knee in the face, so I like deep, like, part of me still has that in the back of my head. You know what I mean? Like, don't overreact, don't get crazy. You know what I mean? Like, take your time, take your time, take your time. And that's kind of what I was doing. Every single time I'd find a shot, I would take it, boom, boom, move, move, move. And I think me being hurt too played a huge part in not trying to do too much to um, put myself in danger, you know. And it's all learning, man. It's but yeah, that dude, whew, he was a
It was
tough,
your
tough,
ribs,
tough
right?
cookie. What's that?
It was your ribs. It was a rib
Yeah,
that you hurt. Yeah.
yeah. I went for a choke in the first round. Everybody keeps saying it like because if you watch the first round, there was a point I made a face because he had kneed me in the junk, and I'm like sitting there because he's on top of me. I'm like, oh, and like I'm sitting here thinking the ref is gonna like say something, and he's not saying anything. So I'm like in pain clearly, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta just suck this shit up and sack up literally, and 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 keep going. And people were like texting me, oh, was it the knee that hurt you? I'm like, yeah, you need me in the junk, not my body, you know what I mean? But so like there was one of the chokes that I went for. I went for a guillotine, and I was squeezing. When I was squeezing, I heard a pop, and all of a sudden, man, I couldn't really throw my lead hand as much as I wanted to. So I was just more picking and choosing my shots, and more than anything, you know. But it was I had to keep a good poker face on, you know. My coaches were screaming at me to do stuff. I literally, at one point, I forget which round it was. I was kind of tired too. I was like telling my coaches, you guys got to calm down. You're doing too much. Like your coach, like I literally told my coaches they're coaching me too much in the middle of a fucking fight. I was at that point, I'm like, and then after that, I'm like, why did I do that? I was so dumb. I was like, I'm sorry, guys. It was heat of the moment, you know, shit happens. I felt like Mike Perry when he was explaining. You ever see that video?
Fucking go.
Go, go, go. That's what was going on. Like,
I don't want to get here right now.
yeah. After I dropped him in the second round, I could hear my coaches screaming, "Kill him! Get him! He's finished!" And I'm sitting there. I'm like, in my head, I'm screaming. I'm like, "I fucking can't. I'm trying. You know, I'm cracking this dude with everything I can, and he's not dropping." And like I'm hurt at the same time, so I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna ignore it and just keep doing what I'm doing. I'm doing very well at it. Let's not if it's not broken, don't fix it. You know what I mean? And that's the game plan I kept. You know, I didn't want to tell them that I was hurt. You know, and somebody hears it and they're like, oh, we gotta check this out. And then worst comes to worst, a fight that I'm winning, I lose to doctor stoppage, and I was not having that.
Oh yeah, I could totally understand and relate to that. Now, what was it? Was it just cartilage? Was it a floating rib? What exactly was your
It was it
diagnosis?
was it was it was a floating rib, and I went and got it X-rayed the next day, and it was just bruised. It was just a bruise, and I don't understand like what the frick happened, but you
Probably
know,
pop the cartilage.
yeah. I've had like I've had it before. First of all, I didn't even know that there was like right here in the center of your chest. I didn't know that there was cartilage connecting the bones, you know, at the center. I thought it was just the bone just going like straight through, you know. And when they explained that to me, I was like, "What are you saying to me right now?" And this was before my Contender Series fight. This happened, and then I had to go to like PT where they would just pop it back in and like um, do some stuff where they got the cartilage to to heal, and it eventually went back in. But like, man, I was dealing with that for that camp, and that was tough. That was a tough injury, and I got that from a knee straight to the center of my ribs. That hurt. That hurt, man.
Yeah, man, rib injuries are no joke. I had one kind of similar that happened in a jiu-jitsu tournament. I had a guillotine locked up standing
Yeah,
and went to jump it, and as soon as we jumped and we hit the mat, his shoulder went straight down into my ribs, and same exact thing. And it
yeah,
just sounded like, like the zipper of like a Carhartt or like a super
yeah,
heavy duty zipper.
yeah,
Like as I'm sitting there trying to hold on for dear life, trying to squeeze for the finish because I knew I was fucked. I was hurt at that point.
yeah,
trying to squeeze that last little bit for the finish, and every little bit that he's moving, I could just feel the rib going in and out. And in my
Yeah.
head, I hear like that zipper sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you know what I'm talking about. Like
Yeah.
anybody who's had a rib injury knows that exact sound
Yeah.
of that popping inside your body that you hear.
Yeah.
And it is
It's,
not a fun thing to have to deal with. And it's not
no.
something that you get over in a couple of days. It's more so weeks to months that you have to worry about rib injuries. So
I'm
I
I'm
can
not
totally
gonna
feel for you.
I'm not gonna lie to you. It was, I think that the rib probably like almost trumped my broken jaw. Um, that shit sucked, man. Like at least the broken jaw, I knew my limits, and like my mouth, I couldn't eat anything, so I didn't try to like go against that, you know. And even when I was able to eat, it was like it was more numb. There was not a lot of pain, you know. The only time I had pain from the broken jaw was the day after, before I got surgery, and after I got surgery, it was it was okay, you know. But like the rib definitely was like bad, because like there was points like I couldn't lay certain ways that I usually lay in bed, like, you know what I mean. It felt like I had like
Mhm.
I was laying on a marble, like somebody took a marble and put it underneath me, like right where it was, and I was laying on top of it. It felt so uncomfortable. I was like, God damn. That's when I was like, I need to go get checked out.
And then even, to piggyback off of that, simple things in regular life that you take for granted, little movements, turning to the sides, a little tiny, just a little halfway cough if you drink some water and it goes down the wrong pipe,
Mm-hmm.
a sneeze, a laugh, hell, call it for what it is. You throw a fart the wrong direction and you're in some significant pain at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. That was like me breaking my jaw. The one thing that I missed so much, and I think a lot of people don't realize they do it until like you think about it. Like imagine how many times during a day you lick your lips, right? You know what
Oh
I
yeah.
mean? I couldn't. My lips were so chapped. You know what I mean? Like after like 2 weeks of having my jaw wired shut, like I couldn't lick my lips. My lips were all chapped. I ran through like chapstick crazy, but like I'm like sitting there. Like there'd be times I'd be laying down and I'd go to lick my lips. And I'm like, oh, my teeth. Like, I'm like, oh shit, my mouth is wired shut. You know what I mean? That shit sucked. That was the weirdest thing ever. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm sure, bro. I'm sure. So I want to ask you about this because this is also something that has some relevance. Obviously, you're a light heavyweight. This last weekend, we had a showcase matchup in the light heavyweight division as far as the UFC card goes with Glover and Thiago Santos. Which, what a crazy finish to how that fight went. I mean,
Mm.
did you get to watch it?
No, no, no. I actually I got a little too high and I fell asleep. I watched most of the card, but I don't remember watching it, man.
We've
I
all been
don't.
there. It
You know,
happens.
I was sitting there watching the dude that got his ear split.
Yep.
I watched that whole fight and I don't even remember that happening. Yeah, you think I was drunk? I wasn't drunk. I was just chilling, you know, hanging out. You know, I kind of taken like a little break off of drinking, so I was just chilling there, smoking with my friends, watching the fights, and I'm like, I went back the next day and I'm watching the UFC Instagram stuff, and I'm like, dude, when did this happen? And I see the fight, I'm like, I watched that fight. What the fuck? But yeah, I've never seen Glover. He's from this area, but Thiago though I've seen, and man, let me tell you, that guy is a freaking moose. He is the biggest human I've met in person. That like made me like, well, besides Francis, you know. I think the reason why I was so in like shocked is because I'm in the same weight class as this dude, and I'm like, there's no fucking way that I'm staying in this weight class once I go to the UFC. If these dudes this big, fuck that. Yo, this dude made me feel like a little boy. Like I mean, like I know he was like, he wasn't in fight shape. He wasn't like he wasn't he just got knee surgery, so he's crutching around the PI, you know. But I'm like sitting there like seeing this guy, I'm like, wow, he's massive, you know. And I was like, yeah, 205 is not going to be a thing for me once I get in the UFC, you know. And then we hit this pandemic and fucking can't seem to get it right now.
Yeah, I hear you there, man. I understand that Thiago is big and Glover is also a big man. You know
Yeah.
who's even bigger and scarier?
Ooh.
The 8 foot tall, 450-pound gorilla that escaped from the zoo and ran down and punched me in the eye.
Yeah, but you messed him up though, so
Yeah, you should see him. You should see him.
yeah. You got your payback, you know.
I got it. But
He's
circling
rethinking.
back as far as with that fight goes, I mean, Glover's now on a pretty incredible win streak at this point.
Yeah.
It's been a big narrative within the headlines that Izzy is supposed to go up and fight Jan for the 205 belt, which was originally reported as supposed to be happening in January. It's not been signed. It's not official.
Yeah.
What was said over the weekend was that Izzy is pushing for that to be a March fight, but Jan said that he's ready to fight. He wants to fight now. Glover said that he is good for a quick turnaround and
Yeah.
could be ready by end of December or sometime around January.
Yeah.
That being said, in terms of the timeline, if Izzy really is not able to go until March and Jan wants to fight, should the UFC make that fight with him and Glover in the meantime, and then Izzy fights that winner, or what is your thought process on that?
For Stylebender, man, he's been so busy. I don't see why I think he deserves a little break, you know. Like the man's fought so much, and like if he doesn't want to fight till March, I think he's earned that. He's defended his belt. He's fought basically all the contenders, and what he's trying to do, not a lot of guys are trying to do, you know. So if he wants to wait till March and prepare better and get ready, that wouldn't be a bad move if they made Glover versus Jan. But on Jan's case, it's a tough task, you know, if you're fighting a guy that like Glover who's on a good win streak, and he just put a guy like Thiago away who beat Jan, and it would be like I don't think Glover would have a chance against Izzy, but
I don't think either of them do, to be honest.
yeah, I just think stylistically, I think it would be a bad matchup for Jan if he goes to the ground. I mean, Glover does have some knockout power too, you know, but I don't know how much he can take standing, you know. Um, it, and that fight, I mean, like, no disrespect to Glover, it's just not like a fight that's gonna, especially right now in the pandemic we are in. I don't think it's gonna draw huge attention. You know what I mean? Like the UFC
That's
is
fair.
trying to bring viewers, because like we don't have any crowds, we don't have like no fans, so it's all viewers based, and I'm not sure how much viewers that would get, you know. And but hey, if they made that fight happen, I wouldn't be mad about it, because I do believe that Glover has earned a shot at the title. He has been doing his work, and you know, he's older. He's on his way out. Give him his fight. You know, because this could be his last fight. For all we know, he's 41 or something like that.
Yep, he's in his young 40s. Now, I'll play devil's advocate to that, because I think that what you said is 100% valid. It's not going to be something that is, in terms of the traditional sense, or for a large amount of the casual fans, if you will, that exist currently, that's
Mm-hmm.
not one that is going to be a major needle mover right off the rip.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at it from this perspective, that might be something that you can run with from a promotion side and from a marketing and business standpoint, is that, Glover has almost a universally loved and revered reputation in the sport. Is that fair to say? Most
Yes.
people
Yes.
who speak about him or have ever came in the interaction with him say that that's arguably the nicest guy that they've ever met.
Yeah. He's a
So
legend.
exactly. And on top of it, he's a legend who has a very very significant resume that is historically great. You know, he's one of the greats of that light heavyweight division, especially within the modern era. I think that you can obviously, you know, he fell short with John way back in the day, but you kind of sell this as like the Bisping narrative, something to that effect.
Yeah.
The good guy, or you know, maybe not necessarily Bisping, because Bisping was never really billed as the good guy, if you will, but always that guy who was a good guy within the sport, at least someone who was always a competitor, someone who was always a grinder and who was always game, and you know, fell short time after time. Or you know, he had that fight against, if he would have beat Gus, probably a good chance he'd have been in that discussion when DC was champ.
Who? Oh, Glover?
When Glover lost to Gustafsson a couple of years ago.
That was right after he just got freaking sent to Mars by Rumble, right?
Right. Yeah. So if he rebounds against a guy like Gus, then he kind of not that he wipes away the loss to Rumble, but if you have that big rebound against a guy as formidable like a Gus, then you're right back in those discussions. But, you know, obviously he fell short in that opportunity and has just stayed steady, chipping his way. And now he's in his early 40s and he's right on the cusp of another title shot. I think that you can run with that by kind of just playing the perseverance card, if that makes sense.
And just playing a huge factor on it too. Like, it's like how much longer are you going to make him wait, you know? I like even Dana agreed, you know. Dana said it himself, like, yeah, you're right, you know. And if he didn't finish what's
Thiago,
and it was like a boring decision fight, you know, I think it would be a little bit tougher for him to be like, yeah, I want the title, I want the belt, you know. But he finished a guy like Thiago, you know, the way he did it's like, okay, yeah, maybe we should take him serious, you know. It's kind of like a Damian Maia situation. For so long, he was just putting dudes away and kept begging until it was his time, you know. But I think right now, yeah, it could be his time. Why wait any longer for him to get older and not be able to take advantage of the opportunity he has and the momentum he has, you know?
100%. And just like you said, I think that he sees the moment. You know, sometimes in this sport especially, the window of opportunity is extremely small. And in that moment, he capitalized. Yeah, he took some damage in that fight, or not necessarily. You didn't see that he weathered a ton of physical damage. You know, he didn't look like he went through like a Whaley and Joanna sort of style, you know, bruising and war. But he did take some big bombs from Thiago throughout that matchup, but was ultimately able to withstand that, showed some high-level veteran presence just to – there was a couple of times – there were some tactical mistakes from Thiago too, where just like how you would kind of mention, you know, not wanting to rush in when you have something. Yeah. Thiago did that. And so maybe that was because Thiago's been out for so long that he wasn't able to control those nerves. Who knows? One way or the other, all we can go off of is the intelligence that we're able to gather from what happened in the cage.
Yeah.
That being said, Glover needed to go out there and do something impressive to make himself relevant in that discussion, especially when them already talking about the champion having his next opponent already lined up. I believe, disrupted the narrative by what he was able to do.
He did.
Because just like you said, if it's something that even let's just say, you know, maybe it was later that he did get a choke, but it wasn't necessarily anything that was all too noteworthy, impressive, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to say, but the fact that should have been, and then I love that Steve-O was a part of the media. He was an honorary journalist and reporter for it, but he actually called out Dana, Sean, Mick, all of those guys, and saying like, hey man, this is not really a question, but this is more of a statement. When he was talking to Glover in the post-fight press conference, he told him, what, you know, I don't understand how you didn't win the fight of the night bonus, like what you were able to. And there was a couple of good fights, so I'm not going to go too far or try to take away from like Raoni, the Brazilian, who I believe did win the fight of the night. You know, I don't want to take anything away from any of the other guys out there, but I think that what he said was valid. He put on a fight of the night worthy type of performance in which he was able to put away who was perceived to be the biggest dark horse threat to the title. He
Yeah.
did exactly what he needed to do to put himself in the title discussion. Is that fair?
I mean, him and John went 5 rounds. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So he finished him, and John went 5 rounds with him. So that, like, there's a lot of factors you can put, like, you can try and be like, oh, like, you know, in Glover's case, you could be like, yeah, the former champ went 5 rounds with him, and I finished him. So you know what I mean? Like, you could do that. There's a lot of things that he could play and make his stock go up in front of Dana to be like, okay, yeah, this is where we need, this is the fight we need to make, you know. I do think that, like, sometimes popularity is like a huge factor and stuff, instead of the guys that really deserve it, you know. And it's happened. Like, look at that 145 division. You know, it's super. The top 5 is just super, like, what's the word I'm looking for?
It's log jammed and saturated.
That, but it's like, what's the word I'm looking for when you expect shit to be handed to you? You're just expecting of too much. Like,
entitled.
Yeah, I feel like the top 5 right now, except for a few, are very entitled. You know, like with Zabit and Yahir, Zabit and Yahir, that fight fell through, and I know Cater was like, hey, fell through. I'm here. I want it. Like, I'm ready to go. And Zabit's just sitting there like, oh, like, just making excuses. And I'm just like, bro, like, how do you expect to fight for a belt if you're just sitting like you're playing Mr. Entitled, bro? Like you're losing your spot more and more. Like, you have a guy in Calvin that's fighting as much as he can. Look at what he did with Dan Ige. I don't know if you watched that fight or not. He didn't have to fight Dan Ige. Dan Ige was in the top 15, not even the top 10, I don't think, at the time. And Calvin was just like, fuck it, let's do it. You know what I mean? After he just had a huge performance against Jeremy Stevens, and was just like, yeah, I don't care, let's do it. You know what I mean? But, like, you have guys like Zabi, who's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna wait around until I get the belt or Yahir or whatever. And I'm like, bro, that makes no sense. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like why would you do that? You know,
because
when it comes
definitely turned into a different era that way, man. Like,
yeah,
guys are protective of their place in line almost.
Even like another one is whatchamacallit, Leon Edwards. I'm like, bro, you're making 0 sense. You're literally fucking yourself at like you have guys. He's saying, oh, nobody wants to fight me. Nobody wants to fight me. And then he has a bunch of guys that are top ranked guys calling him out, like Wonder Boy, Neil Magny, like, yo, let's do it. And then this dumbass and goes and fights a killer like Hamza, who's not even ranked. It's like, it makes no sense. Why would you do that? You won't fight one of those guys that are ranked underneath you, but you're gonna fight a guy that's not ranked, who's a killer, who's putting guys away left and right, who's trying to stay busy and looking for big fights to catapult him into contender, to becoming a contender. And you're gonna ruin your spot to a guy that's not ranked. Now you fight him, you win. Okay, what's that do for you? Not a lot. You just beat an unranked guy. Now if Khamzat wins, this kid's a fucking superstar. Now he just he just took your rank. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, like, you're not like, it's man, I don't get this, the fight game sometimes. It's super confusing on how guys think, and it's weird. It's weird. Like, I get you're trying to, like, you're trying to get to a belt, but you have a top 5 that's super, like, like, there's so many rivalries in the top 5, so many matchups to make, and you're not in there. Like, you know what I mean? They're trying to make Kobe versus Masvidal, or who's another one? Gilbert versus Burns. Like those guys are already like matched up. You know what I mean? So okay, those guys can't fight. So let me look for another fight. And the smart thing to do is probably fight a guy like Wonder Boy or a guy like Neil Magny. You know what I mean? If you think you're gonna beat them, then prove it. You know what I mean? Like and just to show that like you haven't fought in I don't know the last time that dude's fought.
The last
I
time that he
think,
fought, I believe, was the three-piece in the soda. That was March of 2019.
which is crazy. You know what I mean? We're about to go into 2021, and this dude hasn't fought in a long time, and you're trying to tell like be entitled into a title shot when yeah we get it you're supposed to fight Tyrone and the COVID thing happened and all this stuff like that, but since then the division has been moving. Like it's not like nobody's fighting, those guys are fighting, and you're sitting here trying to like you haven't fought in a long time. Get a fight, get a quick fight under your belt, and then brings you right back into that spot where you're like, okay, let's give him a title shot or a number one contender shot. You know, now he's just fucked himself because if he loses, I think he's gonna be forgotten again.
Oh, bro, if he loses, he definitely, I feel like he takes a fairly significant tumble down the rankings, and he will have to go on another pretty incredible run to put himself back in the
Yeah,
discussion. And I will go this far. I will see you and I will raise you on that, Buff. I could not agree with you more. I believe that even if he were to go out there and just spark Hamza, I mean, goes out there and does to Hamza what Hamza did to Mearshart, I think that is the
yeah,
only way that he halfway even keeps his place with this performance. Because if he does
yeah,
anything short of that, then
yeah,
it makes it look like, okay, well, how good really is Leon in that way, and Hamzat is really that good. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Even like you say, even if he does win, but if he faces any bit of adversity, that does not look good at all for Leon Edwards. The
No,
fight that at this point, if he waited this long, that I would have almost rather seen, because this guy has been out for forever and is finally coming back, and it's been a similar timeline, then why not make the Santiago Ponzinibbio matchup?
that would be a good one. That would be
That
a
would have
very
been
good one because
a good matchup of two
what's he
top-ranked
sick?
welterweights.
He's in the top 10, I believe.
Well, he was prior to him getting hurt and him being off. He's been out for about 2 years as well.
Yeah.
So,
That
with
yeah,
that being said,
that would be a great fight. Wonder Boy would be a great fight. Neil Magny would be a great fight.
yep.
And it just like I just don't understand the thought process of him thinking that that would be a smart fight. You know, like him saying, "Oh, I'm not gonna fight these guys because uh, the ranking or whatever." I'm pretty sure that was his excuse. He said something to Wonder Boy, or he tried to turn it like, oh, it wasn't Wonder Boy that was calling him out or something like that. And I'm like, bro, like, what are you doing? Like you just said, like if he beats Hamza, it's gonna be like, all right, sweet, you beat an unranked guy that hasn't really fought anybody yet. Like, nothing away from Mearshad, but like Mearshad wasn't ranked, I don't think, was he?
I mean, if he was, it wasn't high. I know
Yeah,
that he flirted with the top 15, but and Gerald is game. Let's
yeah.
not take anything away from Gerald
No,
in that
no,
regard, because Gerald is game, but that is also a guy who was, to be fair, on the flip side, yes, Gerald is game. He's a longtime veteran. That was the
yeah,
biggest test so far of Hamzat's career. But look at the timeline within Gerald's career also, in that just 2 months before, he also got knocked out in the first round by Ian Heinisch.
yeah.
So that was his first time back in there after
Yeah,
getting knocked out. How much did the psychology alone play a role?
yeah.
Because if you look at the body language, Gerald did not have strong body language while he was in
No,
the cage with Hamza.
no. No, and it's just like like us both, we both agree, like nothing to take away from him. He's in the UFC for a reason, but it's not for Hamza. Okay, it's a good win, but you haven't really fought anybody in the top 15, so let's not jump ahead of ourselves and say, oh, this kid's going to be this, he's going to be that, he's going to be this, and he's going to be that, you know what I mean? And then for Leon to turn around and be like, okay, I'll fight him. I'm ranked number 3 right? Something like that. I'm gonna go fight an unranked guy instead of fighting somebody ranked. It just like what? I'm like it like it's a great because it's a win. It's a win-win for Kamzat. You know what I mean? And in Leon's situation, I think it's a. I don't think he wins either way. You know what I mean? Like I don't think his popularity is gonna rise because
No.
he's not like a who like how many his last 4 fights. I don't think he's had any finishes. He fought Cowboy, he fought RDA to decision,
Gunner.
and I think those were his last 2 fights, right?
Yeah,
And
Gunner was his last one, I believe.
and
And Gunner.
that was a 3-round fight. So it was Cowboy, RDA, and then Gunner. If that it was the Darren Till versus Wonder Boy card. No,
No, it was Darren Till against Masvidal.
was it that one? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was over in
So
London because then right afterwards, that's when the whole 3-piece and a soda happened.
yep. Okay. Yeah. So his last 3 fights weren't like, oh, like man, we need to make this guy like a freaking title contender ASAP. You know what I mean? If it was, he would have already fought for the title.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I feel like he's playing the entitled card too much, and he should just do what other fighters are doing right now, taking advantage of what they have. You know, and like look, it took him getting taken off of the top 5 to take a fight.
Yep.
Like, bro, what are you doing? You're not looking good in the UFC's eyes of being a company guy and being like I get it's a selfish sport, but at the end of the day, you have to you can't bite the hand that's feeding you, because at the end of the day, the UFC is the ones that are making fights happen, that's paying you. So like when you're getting offered fights left and right and you're declining them, it just makes no sense on how you're gonna bark at the other guys that they're not fighting you. You know, when they've been way more busy than you have. Like Gilbert, like Ariel Helwani was trying to like take away like Gilbert's shine, like almost. You know, when Usman pulled from the fight, he goes, "Oh yeah, so Leon Edwards and Gilbert should fight, and then the winner gets the." I'm like, that makes no sense. Gilbert
Yeah,
has
if I'm
fought.
Gilbert, there's no way. No way.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna sit and wait. I've fought almost 5 times before this dude could even fight once. You know what I mean? So it makes no sense. Why would I do that? Like, why would I? I'm actually fighting for the belt. Why would I even waste my time doing that? You know, like if you're a guy like that, then you can be like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna chill. But if you're trying to fight for a number one position, and you have so many guys that are chomping at the bit to get after you, like get at you, then man, you got to make shit happen. You can't just be like playing entitled, and shit's mad confusing, man.
I could not agree with you more, bro. So we've covered a lot of topics here, my man. I also want to throw something else out there that, it just kind of plays on some of that. Always been a pro wrestling fan, that sort of just look in the way. I mean, I've always loved your logo and the design, like the fuck Jerry sort of design,
Yeah,
but that paired with the Pit Vipers just
yeah,
gives you like that, like 80s, 90s pro wrestler vibe, especially now with the Kevin Randleman top going on, like
yeah,
that
buddy.
just, yeah, bro, like that just straight up looks like old school wrestler. Like, let's put on like the Zubas and let's cut a promo type of shit.
Yeah, I'm so upset that I got rid of my dreads, man. The quarantine really got to me at the beginning, and like I walked into a barber shop and I was just like, yeah, cut it off. And the guy was like, you sure, bro? I'm like, yeah, cut it off. And like as soon as I got out the chair and I looked in the mirror, I was like, what the fuck did I just do? Why did I do that? But I'm gonna get them back, so it's no biggie, But I was really upset that I did that. But Yeah, man. I think a lot of guys in fighting are just very very cliche with what they do, and they try to be like everybody else, and I'm trying to set myself aside from everybody, you know what I mean? If it's dressing different, if it's like talking, like whatever it is, I'm going to try to do it, because that's who I am. I like to be different from everybody else, you know. So it's, if it's the hair, the glasses, the Dixie cup shirts, the shorts, whatever it is, I'm going to do it.
I love it, man. I love it. Is there anything else that you want to get out there to friends, family, supporters, team, management, anybody, promoters?
Nah, man. Just thank you to everybody that follows me, my career, that enjoys the dumb shit that I do, and just stay tuned. We got a lot of things coming up, and 2021, we're gonna make that year our bitch. It's just got to get through these next couple of months, and hopefully things clear up. But if not, we're gonna keep doing what we do, and roll with the punches.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. One last time, can you let the people know where they can follow you?
Buffalo MMA on Instagram, Buff the Demon on Twitter, um, Fabio Cherant for my Facebook. If you want to friend me on there, you know, I think that's it. I don't have any much. I can't give out my number.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't be too well to put out there for
Yeah.
everybody in the general public.
No,
Now,
no,
I just
no.
want to say thank you very much for taking the time, man. I really do
Anytime,
appreciate it.
bro. Anytime.
Definitely, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on that next card, seeing you come out and throw those
Yes,
bombs.
sir.
Yes, sir. This is Jordan Kurtz with the comments from the Peanut
Anytime,
Gallery
my man.
podcast, as well as the MMA plug powered by DenverSportsBetting.com and Mile High Sports. I will see you next time.